Welcome, dear friends, to a tale of transformation and unexpected romance. Enjoy the story. Alex Thompson couldn't wipe the smile off his face as he reached for the door handle of Glamour Grove, the most prestigious beauty salon in downtown Chicago. Even after a week of interning here, he still felt like a kid who'd just been handed his favorite toy. "Another day in paradise," he whispered to himself, stepping into the bustling salon. The air was thick with the scent of hairspray and expensive perfume. Stylists bustled about, their scissors snipping away as they transformed their clients. This was Alex's dream, and he'd fought hard to get here. Back home in small-town Indiana, nobody understood his passion. "Prettying up women ain't men's work," his father would grumble. But Alex had known since he was a kid that he wanted to turn ordinary women into stunning beauties. He'd studied hard, worked nights to buy the best cosmetics, and never missed a class, even when he was sick. He remembered the day his instructor sent him home with a fever after he'd fainted in class. "You won't remember a thing in this state, Alex," she'd said, her voice firm but kind. "And you'll infect your classmates. Go home. Trust me, you'll catch up quickly." Finding a job had been tough. Everyone wanted experience, and even glowing recommendations from his school didn't give him an edge. Landing this internship at Glamour Grove felt like winning the lottery. As he hung up his coat in the staff room, his colleague Tina gave him a curious look. "Still grinning like the Cheshire Cat, huh? You know this is just an internship, right?" Alex shrugged, his smile never faltering. "It's a foot in the door, Tina. That's all I need." He had gone to Glamour Grove a week ago, hoping for nothing, and got in just as the owner, Mrs. Eleanor Blackwood, was in the middle of the salon, giving the staff an earful. "I swear you're all stuck in the last century," Mrs. Blackwood's voice rang out. "Look at our clientele. It's all older folks and those who can barely afford it. Why? Because you can't keep up with the times, or maybe you just don't want to bother? The pay's good, so why push yourselves, right?" Alex stood to the side, trying to blend into the wallpaper. But Mrs. Blackwood's sharp eyes found him. "Young man, I think you're in the wrong place. This is a beauty salon for women." Alex swallowed hard and stepped forward. "Actually, ma'am, I'm here about the internship." He held out his papers with a slightly trembling hand. Mrs. Blackwood's eyebrows shot up as she scanned the documents. "Well, well," she mused. "Fresh blood. Just what we need." The salon manager, a polished woman in her 50s, appeared at Mrs. Blackwood's side. "Eleanor, you can't seriously be considering—" "Hush, Margaret," Mrs. Blackwood cut her off. "Hire this young man as an intern. If he does well, we'll see about making it permanent." As Mrs. Blackwood swept out of the salon, Margaret turned to Alex, her lips pursed in disapproval. "Report here tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. Don't be late." Alex nodded eagerly. "Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am." As he left the salon, his heart was pounding with excitement. He'd done it. He'd gotten his chance. Alex arrived at Glamour Grove the next morning an hour early, his hands shaking with nervous energy as he arranged his tools. "Calm down, newbie," Tina said, eyeing him from her station. "It's just hair and makeup, not brain surgery." Alex took a deep breath. "I know. I just want to do well." Margaret approached, her heels clicking sharply on the tiled floor. "Thompson, you'll be assisting Tina today. Watch and learn. Don't touch anything unless instructed." The day passed in a blur of shampoo, rinse, and repeat. Alex absorbed everything like a sponge, his eyes wide as he watched the stylists work their magic. By closing time, his feet ached and his head spun with new information, but his enthusiasm hadn't dimmed one bit. "Not bad for a first day," Tina admitted as they cleaned up. "You've got good instincts, kid." Alex beamed at the compliment. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Weeks passed, and Alex settled into the rhythm of the salon. He was still mostly relegated to sweeping floors and washing towels, but occasionally, one of the stylists would let him assist with a simple task. One busy Saturday, a harried-looking woman rushed in. "I need a complete makeover. I have a date in 3 hours." The other stylists were all occupied. Margaret looked around frantically, her eyes landing on Alex. "Thompson, can you handle this?" Alex's heart leaped. "Yes, ma'am." He led the nervous client to his station. "Don't worry," he assured her. We'll have you looking fabulous in no time." 2.5 hours later, the woman gazed at her reflection in awe. Her hair now sported caramel highlights, her makeup was subtle but enchanting, and her nails gleamed with a classy French manicure. I look beautiful," she whispered. As the woman left, Margaret approached Alex. "Not bad, Thompson. Not bad at all." Alex felt like he was walking on air for the rest of the day. As the holidays approached, Glamour Grove became busier than ever. Alex was run off his feet, but he loved every minute of it. One morning, he noticed a new face among the staff, a quiet girl with mousy brown hair who kept her head down as she mopped the floors. "Who's that?" he asked Tina. Tina shrugged. "New cleaning girl. Started yesterday. What's it to you?" Alex frowned at Tina's dismissive tone. He made a mental note to introduce himself to the new girl later. That afternoon, as he was taking out the trash, he saw her struggling with a heavy bucket. "Here, let me help you with that," he offered, taking the bucket from her. She looked up, startled, and Alex caught a glimpse of startlingly beautiful green eyes before she quickly looked down again. "Thank you," she murmured. "I'm Alex," he said warmly. "What's your name?" "Sarah," she replied softly. "Nice to meet you, Sarah. Welcome to Glamour Grove." As he walked away, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Sarah than met the eye. As Christmas approached, excitement built in the salon. The annual Glamour Grove Christmas party was the talk of the town, a glittering affair where the city's elite mingled with the salon's staff. One afternoon, Alex overheard some of the stylists talking about the party. "I can't wait to see what Tiffany's wearing this year," one giggled. "Remember last year's dress?" "Forget Tiffany," another chimed in. "I heard Mrs. Blackwood's bringing her mysterious granddaughter this year." Alex's ears perked up at this, but his attention was drawn away by the sound of laughter. He turned to see a group of stylists surrounding Sarah, who was trying to mop around them. "Hey, Sarah," one called out mockingly. "Are you coming to the Christmas party? Or don't you own anything besides that ratty uniform?" Sarah kept her head down, her cheeks burning red. Alex felt a surge of anger. "Hey," he interrupted sharply. "Leave her alone." The stylists turned to him, surprised. "Ooh, look at the knight in shining armor," one teased. "Got a crush on the cleaning lady, Alex?" Alex ignored them, turning to Sarah. "Don't listen to them. You should come to the party." Sarah looked up, her green eyes wide with surprise. I don't know. I don't have anything to wear." Alex grinned. "Leave that to me. I'll help you get ready. We'll show these snobs what real beauty looks like." As Sarah smiled shyly, Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He was determined to make this Christmas party unforgettable. The day of the Christmas party arrived, and Glamour Grove was abuzz with excitement. Alex had arranged to stay late with Sarah to help her get ready. As the last clients left and the other staff hurried off to prepare, Alex turned to Sarah with a grin. "Ready for your Cinderella moment?" Sarah bit her lip nervously. "Are you sure about this, Alex? I don't want to embarrass you." "Trust me," Alex assured her. "When I'm done, you'll be the belle of the ball." He set to work, first washing and styling Sarah's hair. As he worked, he chatted to her, trying to put her at ease. "So, Sarah, tell me about yourself. What brought you to Glamour Grove?" Sarah was quiet for a moment. I've always been interested in beauty and fashion, but I never had the confidence to pursue it. This job, it was a way to be close to that world, even if I'm just cleaning up after it." Alex nodded, understanding. "I get that, but it's never too late to chase your dreams." As he finished her hair and moved on to makeup, Sarah slowly began to open up. Alex learned that she was an only child, raised by a single mother who had recently passed away. She had a degree in business, but had never found the courage to use it. "You're full of surprises, Sarah," Alex said, as he applied the finishing touches to her makeup. "I have a feeling there's a lot more to you than meets the eye." Finally, he stepped back to admire his work. "Okay, time for the grand reveal. Ready?" Sarah nodded nervously. Alex turned her chair to face the mirror. Sarah gasped. The woman staring back at her was almost unrecognizable. Her mousy brown hair now fell in glossy waves, framing a face that looked like it belonged on a magazine cover. Her green eyes popped against smoky eyeshadow, and her lips were a bold, confident red. Is that really me?" Sarah whispered. Alex grinned. That's the real you, Sarah. Beautiful inside and out. Sarah stood up, smoothing down the elegant black dress Alex had borrowed from his sister. Alex, I don't know how to thank you. Alex took her hand. Thank me by walking into that party with your head held high. Show them all who you really are. As they left the salon together, Alex couldn't help but feel that this night was going to change everything. The Glamour Grove Christmas party was in full swing when Alex and Sarah arrived. The grand ballroom of the Blackwood Hotel glittered with thousands of twinkling lights, and the air was filled with the sound of laughter and clinking champagne glasses. As they entered, a hush fell over the nearby crowd. Alex heard whispers rippling through the room. Who is that with Alex? Is that the cleaning girl? She looks incredible. Tina, resplendent in a slinky red dress, sashayed over to them. Her jaw dropped when she recognized Sarah. Well, well, she said, her voice a mix of admiration and jealousy. Looks like Cinderella made it to the ball after all. Sarah, standing tall in her borrowed heels, merely smiled. Thank you, Tina. You look lovely, too. As Tina flounced away, clearly miffed at being outshone, Alex leaned in to whisper in Sarah's ear. You're doing great. Want to dance? Sarah nodded, and Alex led her to the dance floor. As they swayed to the music, he couldn't take his eyes off her. In the soft light, she looked like a dream come to life. Alex, Sarah said softly, thank you for this, for believing in me when no one else did. Alex smiled. You're the one who had it in you all along, Sarah. I just helped you see it. As the song ended, a hush fell over the room. Mrs. Blackwood had taken the stage, tapping a spoon against her champagne glass for attention. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice carrying across the ballroom. As you know, I've been in the beauty industry for many years. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been rewarding. However, I'm not getting any younger, and managing 9 salons has become quite a challenge. The room was silent, everyone holding their breath. Was she about to announce the closure of Glamour Grove? Mrs. Blackwood continued. After much consideration, I've decided to step back from the day-to-day operations. But don't worry, I'm not abandoning ship. Instead, I'm passing the reins to someone who has spent years learning the business, both here and abroad. Someone who even worked as a cleaner in one of our salons to understand the business from the ground up. Alex felt Sarah stiffen beside him. He looked at her, confused, but her eyes were fixed on Mrs. Blackwood. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new owner and CEO of Glamour Grove Salons, my granddaughter Sarah Blackwood. The room erupted in gasps and applause. Alex stood frozen, his mind reeling. He turned to Sarah, who was looking at him with a mixture of apprehension and hope. Sarah, he managed to choke out. You're Mrs. Blackwood's granddaughter? Sarah nodded, biting her lip. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you, Alex. I wanted to experience the business without any preconceptions or special treatment. And then I met you, and I didn't know how to tell you without changing everything. Before Alex could respond, Mrs. Blackwood's voice cut through the chaos. Sarah, dear, come up here. Sarah squeezed Alex's hand. We'll talk later, I promise. Then she made her way to the stage, the crowd parting before her. As she took her place beside her grandmother, Mrs. Blackwood beamed with pride. My goodness, Sarah, I didn't recognize you at first. You look stunning. Sarah smiled, her eyes finding Alex in the crowd. Thank you, grandmother. I had help from an incredibly talented stylist. In fact, I'd like to make an announcement of my own. She took a deep breath, her voice ringing out clear and confident. As my first act as CEO, I'd like to announce the promotion of Alex Thompson to Salon Director of our magnificent Mile location. The room burst into applause again. Alex stood rooted to the spot, overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events. As Sarah made her way back to him through the congratulating crowd, Alex's mind was a whirlwind of emotions. But as she reached him, her eyes shining with warmth and a hint of nervousness, he found he could only focus on one thing. As the party wound down, Alex and Sarah found a quiet corner to talk. The revelation of Sarah's true identity still hung between them, a mixture of shock and unspoken questions. I owe you an explanation, Sarah began, her voice soft but steady. "I never meant to deceive you, Alex. When I decided to learn the business from the ground up, I never expected to meet someone like you." Alex took a deep breath, trying to process everything. "Why me, Sarah? Why did you let me help you tonight?" Sarah's eyes met his, filled with sincerity. "Because you were the only one who saw me, really saw me, when I was just Sarah, the cleaning girl. You treated me with kindness and respect, not because of who my grandmother is, but because that's who you are." Alex felt a warmth spread through his chest at her words. "I still can't believe you're going to be my boss," he said with a small chuckle. Sarah laughed, the tension between them easing. "Well, technically you'll be reporting to the regional manager, but I do hope we can still be friends?" The hesitation in her voice made Alex's heart skip a beat. "Friends," he repeated, testing the word. "Yeah, I'd like that." As they rejoined the party, Alex couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of something extraordinary. The weeks following the Christmas party were a whirlwind of change at Glamour Grove. Sarah took to her new role with a natural grace and determination that impressed everyone, even the most skeptical employees. Alex, meanwhile, threw himself into his new position as salon director. The promotion came with its own set of challenges, but he was determined to prove himself worthy of Sarah's faith in him. One afternoon, as Alex was reviewing the salon's inventory, Sarah stopped by his office. "How's it going, Director Thompson?" she asked with a playful smile. Alex looked up, returning her smile. "It's going well, Miss Blackwood. Just trying to get a handle on all these new responsibilities." Sarah perched on the edge of his desk. "You're doing great, Alex. The client feedback has been overwhelmingly positive since you took over." "Thanks," Alex said, feeling a flush of pride. "I've been thinking about some new ideas for the salon. Would you have time to discuss them over coffee sometime?" Sarah's eyes lit up. "I'd love to. How about tomorrow afternoon?" As she left, Alex couldn't help but feel a flutter of excitement. He reminded himself firmly that this was a professional meeting, nothing more. But the memory of Sarah in that black dress at the Christmas party kept sneaking into his thoughts. The next day, Alex met Sarah at a small cafe near the salon. As they settled into a cozy booth with their lattes, Alex pulled out a folder bursting with ideas. "So, I've been thinking about ways to modernize our services," he began enthusiastically. "What if we introduced a line of organic, cruelty-free products, and maybe offer some holistic beauty treatments?" Sarah listened intently, her eyes sparkling with interest. "I love it, Alex. It's exactly the kind of forward-thinking approach we need." As they discussed his ideas, Alex found himself captivated by Sarah's passion and business acumen. This was a side of her he hadn't seen before, and he found it incredibly attractive. "You know," Sarah said, leaning back with a smile, "I knew I made the right choice in promoting you. You've got vision, Alex." Alex felt a warmth spread through him at her praise. "I couldn't have done it without the chance you gave me." Their eyes met, and for a moment the air between them seemed to crackle with unspoken possibilities. Then Sarah cleared her throat, breaking the spell. "We should head back to the salon," she said, a slight flush on her cheeks. "But let's do this again soon. I enjoy bouncing ideas off you." As they walked back to Glamour Grove, their hands brushed accidentally. Alex felt a jolt of electricity at the contact, and he couldn't help but wonder if Sarah felt it too. Months passed, and under Sarah and Alex's leadership, Glamour Grove flourished. Their partnership, both professional and personal, grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as Alex was closing up the salon, Sarah burst in, her eyes shining with excitement. "Alex! We've been invited to the annual Beauty Industry Gala!" Alex's eyes widened. The gala was the most prestigious event in the beauty world, attended by industry giants and celebrities alike. "That's amazing, Sarah. When is it?" "Next month," she replied. "And I was hoping you'd be my date?" Alex's heart skipped a beat. "Your date? Are you sure?" Sarah nodded, suddenly looking shy. "Yes, I'm sure. There's no one else I'd rather go with." As the night of the gala approached, Alex found himself both excited and nervous. He and Sarah had been dancing around their feelings for months, and he couldn't help but feel that this night might change everything. The gala was a glittering affair, held in the grand ballroom of a luxury hotel. As Alex and Sarah walked the red carpet, cameras flashing all around them, he couldn't take his eyes off her. She was radiant in a flowing emerald gown that matched her eyes. "You look beautiful," he whispered as they entered the ballroom. Sarah squeezed his hand. "So do you, handsome." As they mingled with industry bigwigs and celebrities, Alex marveled at how far they'd both come, from a hopeful intern and a disguised heiress to respected figures in the beauty world. Later, as they slow danced under the sparkling chandeliers, Sarah looked up at Alex, her eyes filled with warmth. "Alex," she said softly, "I need to tell you something." Alex's heart raced. "What is it?" I think I'm falling in love with you." Time seemed to stand still. Then, slowly, Alex smiled. "Sarah Blackwood, I think I've been in love with you since the day you let me give you that makeover." As their lips met in a tender kiss, Alex knew that this was just the beginning of their happily ever after. 5 years later, Glamour Grove had expanded to become one of the most successful and respected salon chains in the country. Sarah and Alex, now married, ran the business together, their complementary skills creating a perfect balance. They had revolutionized the industry with their emphasis on natural beauty, ethical products, and inclusive practices. Glamour Grove was known not just for making people look beautiful, but for making them feel beautiful too. One sunny afternoon, as they strolled hand in hand through the park near their first salon, Sarah turned to Alex with a mischievous smile. "You know, I've been thinking," she said, her free hand resting on her slightly rounded belly. "When this little one arrives, maybe we should open a new type of salon." Alex raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What did you have in mind?" "How about a family salon? A place where parents can get pampered while their kids get fun, age-appropriate treatments. We could call it Glamour Sprouts." Alex laughed, pulling her close. "I love it. And I love you, Sarah Thompson Blackwood." As they continued their walk, dreaming up plans for their new venture, Alex marveled at the journey that had brought them here. From a small-town boy with big dreams to a respected businessman and soon-to-be father, he had found success beyond his wildest imagination. But more than that, he had found love, partnership, and a shared vision for the future. With Sarah by his side, he knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, creating beauty in the world, one makeover at a time. As the sun set over the Chicago skyline, casting a golden glow over the city, Alex and Sarah walked home, hand in hand, ready to write the next chapter of their beautiful story.